This episode of the Date Podcast is sponsored by Bopsy. Meet up to 6 people over mobile video. It's video speed dating. Download Bopsy in the Google Play Store or iTunes. Check out bopsy.com.
Hi, this is Emma.
And Zorric.
Host of the Date Podcast. We're so excited to do another show for you. So, Zorric, what are you wearing today?
A shirt.
Oh.
Just like you.
Oh. Did you put much thought into your shirt?
Of course.
Are you sure?
Every decision takes a lot of thought in my life.
I don't know. I guess it's a good thing that we have our guest today. So we want to welcome Alyssa Dineen. She's an online dating expert. She's a style guru and founder of Style My Profile NYC.
Awesome. I need that. We all need that, actually.
Hi. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can tell Zorric needs all the help when it comes to fashion.
Why is it always on me? Okay, don't pick on me. All right.
Guys are easier to pick on.
Oh my gosh. But first we like to ask for your help. We're a brand new podcast available on iTunes and Google Play. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Hopefully a really good review. Also tell your friends about the podcast. We appreciate the feedback and support. If you have any questions, comments, or show topics you'd like for us to discuss, you can drop us a note at hello@datepodcast.com or on @datepodcast on Instagram and Twitter. All right, now for the fun stuff.
Yay.
Yes.
I am really excited to have you. I love the concept that you have. And it's so funny because a few years ago, when I started online dating in my early 20s, I had a friend come up to me and say, you know, how do you do it? And she's like, how do you know like what pictures to post? Like, how do you know how to present yourself? And I said, do it. I don't know. I asked friends for help, you know, like I kind of wean through pictures and then I ask them, does this look okay, sound okay?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's awesome that you basically do that for people.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit like what it is that I'm talking about for our listeners to know?
Yeah, we'll start with a background.
Okay.
Like, so where are you? Where are you from?
Okay. Well, I've been a stylist in New York for over 20 years.
Cool.
And then about 12 years ago, I started working with private clients, personal styling, and love it. That's been, I love working with individuals, and I kind of was sick of working on photo shoots. And anyway, then about 3 years ago, I got separated. And I had been with my ex-husband for 20 years, and way before even texting. And
I remember those days too.
And I was thrown into the online dating. Well, I threw myself in there, actually. Really excited and eager, and then realized I didn't really know what I was doing, and also had to ask friends to kind of help me choose what photos and what to write and all of that. And then I got really good at it. So anyway, I came up with this idea a few years ago because I realized so many people needed it, at least the guys' profiles I saw, and thought that would be such a great kind of branching off of my business.
Yeah. Very cool.
So what's your current relationship status? Are you single, married?
So I'm single still, but I'm in a relationship with a guy that I met on Tinder a year and a half ago. And now we live together with my 2 kids.
Okay, that's cool. So
very cool.
Yeah. So I'm a true believer in online dating.
I want to know what the line it was that he used when y'all matched on Tinder. If it's appropriate.
You know what? Honestly, it's so funny because we keep talking about it. I wish there was some kind of app that you could like recapture your original texting, on Tinder. Because once you close your accounts, you can't.
Right, unless you screenshot it, yeah.
And we thought that would be such a great like side business for Tinder.
Yeah.
If it's a successful relationship, here's your first message.
Right, exactly. So we matched, and literally we matched, and he wrote me immediately. And I can't even remember actually what he said, something like, hey, hey, how are you? Whatever, something, not super exciting. But I wrote back, right? I was like, I think that was the fastest time, response time after matching with somebody ever. And he made a joke about how he'd been practicing it for a while.
Nice.
Anyway, it was funny.
So it was
we
nice.
And he wanted to go out that night, and I couldn't. And then we met for coffee the next day.
Oh wow! Look at that.
I like him.
Yeah, we were quick.
Y'all did it the way that you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to like go out within a few days. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was something that I figured out actually myself from personal experience, and then especially with a lot of divorced people who have children and demanding careers, it's like you have to jump on an opportunity if you can meet. So that was part of it too.
Yeah. So what attracted you to him? Was it his picture, his bio?
Well, that's the he hates it when I say this, but I have to say it all the time now that I'm being interviewed. He had one good picture, and the rest were really not great. And
That's
so I was
awesome.
telling him, if it weren't for that one good picture, I don't know if we would be together. So
Sometimes it's that one good picture that like can make it.
exactly. So yeah.
Yes. So then you guys meet. So where did he take you? Where did you guys go for the first date?
We met someplace near my work we actually met at a coffee shop that I suggested near my work. And then it's sort of another thing that like brought us closer together is that I got there first and I ordered a matcha. And he got there and ordered a matcha, and we didn't know that we both liked matcha, and that was, we thought that was funny. So anyway.
Nice. It was meant to be, right?
It was. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was definitely a match.
Yeah, for sure. So how long did you guys, date before, or I guess how many dates before you guys became exclusive? Like until it got
Before
serious?
what?
You guys became exclusive, I guess.
Oh,
you guys were...
well, we, again, because it, with his travel schedule and my kid's schedule, it's slow going. So we probably took us a good, 2 months because we didn't really have a chance to go out that many times. So it was after like 4 dates, but, which sounds quick, but it was over like a
2
month and a
months,
half long.
Yeah. But I think that's the standard, right, Emma? I think it's about 2 months.
Yeah.
Or 1 to 2 months.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So you guys are.
So you guys are doing everything, following the schedule that someone created.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
Well, hopefully we won't need you then.
Yeah, hopefully you won't need to call me in a few.
yeah. So I guess did you have the Style My Profile before him or after?
No, because so he is my business partner too in this, because we came up with the idea together.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
and he's much more of the business-minded person, and I'm more of the creative person. So, I need somebody like that to be pushing certain areas along.
Oh yeah, for sure. You definitely need that balance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So before that though, so when you were a kid, did you always want to be a stylist? I mean, did you dream about fashion?
I always really loved fashion and loved, dressing for myself. And it was like a way of expressing myself for a long time, not really knowing that you could actually make a career of that. I grew up in suburbia and wasn't, I know when you grew up in like New York City or LA or something, that's more you're exposed to that, but I wasn't at all. So I went to college. I actually wanted to be a psychologist.
Whoa.
Okay.
I studied psychology, and then got out of school and really, I was much more into my creative side at that time. And so I started assisting some stylists, and I had met my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, but he was a photographer. So we worked on some things together, and he referred me to some people. And so I kind of fell into it. It was before, I mean, this was a long time ago. So it was before, now you can go to school to be a stylist, you can go to college to be a stylist. It wasn't that way. You kind of just had to, apprentice in a way.
Right. Just like learn under someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. So what kind of, what were the styles that you worked with, or I guess, what were the people that you worked with whenever you were helping style the photography parts?
You mean what, magazines or?
Magazines, or was it like ads?
So what
it was all of the above. So I started out in San Francisco, and then when I realized I really wanted to pursue that as a career, I wanted to live in New York anyway. So I moved to New York, and and then just assisted some really great stylists that I met, and on big advertising campaigns and magazines. And from them, I kind of made my own contacts, and then started working for, Bazaar and Italian Vogue weddings. And I mean, I kind of jumped all over, but Surface, Real Simple. I mean, I did a lot of celebrity stuff for a while.
Any celebrities you can name, or?
It's on my site, but Halle Berry, Jim Carrey, Gwen Stefani. And this is a while ago, so.
Which, by the way, I consider you a celebrity because you were written on Bravo. So that's my celebrity status there. That's great. Yeah, I'm very excited. Like I said, I'm super excited.
That's great.
So I guess, so you did that, and so what keeps you going in the styling, this industry? I mean, is this just what you love?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think kind of why I ended up, I gravitated towards the personal styling is because I really felt, I love being on shoots for a long time. I did that for a long time, but it's really demanding of your time. And at that point, I had a baby and a new baby, and I kind of needed to come up with something. I love fashion. I wanted to stay in that, but something where I could be a little more making my own hours and being more flexible. Because sometimes you'd have, be on shoots from 6 a.m. until, 11 p.m., that kind of thing. Or I'd have to travel a lot. And because my husband at the time was traveling so much, one of us had to be around. So I really kind of, I started, on certain shoots, I I styled like Suzanne Vega, for example. I did a cover album for her, and I told her that I was personal styling now, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's great. Let's start. I need you."
Yeah.
So I started dressing her for events, and one thing leads to another, and then you get referred around, and so I kind of grew my business that way.
Yeah, and there's nothing like working from home, right?
Yes,
long hours, like you mentioned. I mean, you're away from your family, away from your boyfriend or girlfriend, and so that's I think that's true freedom, right? Being able to work when you want, where you want, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would like to know what that feels like one day.
So go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, do you work out of an office or
I work at a hospital right now.
Oh, at a hospital. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So I guess, what do you see today as far as like current fashion trends? If you can just give a general.
God, they're changing so much, and also, they change so fast. And with Instagram now, I feel like everything seems even more accelerated. But right now, in this moment, trends, or just
in this moment, like right now.
Well, I actually just did a trend newsletter for my client. Pastels, monochromatic looks, white boots. Let's see what else. Woven bags. yeah, I could go on and on.
We need to copy that, whatever you do.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can just like email us, especially Zorric,
Yes.
like, red flag it priority to
I
Zorric.
know. I know. Us men, we need help. Come on now.
I can send you a list, separately.
That's good. Okay, so let's get into more of the Style My Profile, NYC.com. So when you meet with clients, like, what are their general feeling? What's their feeling about the dating app experience today?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, so my current clients are all, I mean, I'm targeting divorced people who
Mm-hmm.
generally haven't been out there online dating at all. So they're coming to me because they really need someone to kind of hold their hand through the process. And because I'm also divorced and I have children and I've been through it, I think basically people have trusted me to help them. So most people are kind of, are really hesitant to try it. And
I mean, it's really scary.
I think especially, I mean, what I say is that a lot of, millennials who have kind of just grown up with online dating, I don't think they really think anything of it. It's just like everyone they know does it. And, even if you've never tried it, pretty much everyone has done it at some point. And most people meet their partners online, I think. So I think for our age group, I'm almost 45, it's just different because, if you're divorced, generally really haven't been dating since way before online dating and definitely like before texting and all of that. So I think it seems really scary. And I think people have a lot of, preconceived ideas about it, like it's dangerous or, and like who I am not actually going to meet someone, a real person, like who's actually like, legitimately, someone I could date. I think they think that it's like this obscure thing, but
like it's a robot or some creepy guy, like it's a robot or some creepy guy, like in a dark room.
Right. And I think that when I tell them, like, it's everybody now. I mean, really, it's like a whole range. Yes, there are the total creepy guys and and weirdos, but then there's lots of, people just like us. So I think it's more encouraging people to just give it a try. And it's not for everyone. And I think, I think it's more, I think for people who, so mostly most of my clients, and up until now have been women. And I think that, they're really just wanting to kind of rip the Band-Aid and just get out there and try it. And I mean, even just going on a date. And I think it's just less common to be set up with somebody. Like when I first became single, I have so many friends, and I've lived here for over 20 years. I have so many friends here. I literally like put the word out. I was like, if you know of anybody that you want to set me up with, I'm totally game. Like just, and 2 people set me up with somebody. I mean, out of all the people I know.
Were they great dates?
No, but they weren't horrible. They were just, not just somebody I probably would have chosen.
Yeah.
And I was appreciative, but anyway, people just don't really do that anymore. And I really thought that they would. I really was like, oh yeah, someone's going to set me up with their husband's, best friend who just also got separated or something. And that just really doesn't happen. So anyway, so I really just threw myself online. But I think what I mainly say is that, just get out there and have fun. I mean, it's really just about having a good time. And, again, my clients are all divorced or separated. And I think the idea is not necessarily to go out there and meet your next life partner, but just having somebody to go to the movies with, or like go to try new restaurants, or, whatever it is.
Like a companion.
Yeah, exactly. A companion. Exactly.
So most of your clients, have they tried it first and they kind of come to you, or?
Some of them have tried it. And again, I think that if you don't have somebody you can kind of talk to about it, then maybe you try it and quickly like, oh, no, I can't do this, So I think that some people have tried it unsuccessfully. And so, the feedback I've gotten is that working with somebody like me who, and I also have art directed shoots too. I don't know if I mentioned that or if that's on my bio, but I kind of, it's easy for me to just go through a group of 50 photos and pick the 5 best ones. That takes me like, 10 minutes. So I think just even, again, walking someone through it and just going through the, what to put on their bio and having them have somebody to run it by, just kind of read you what I wrote and getting feedback on that. I think it just makes them feel more confident, putting it up there. So to answer your question, yes, I think some people have tried it, but not to the same level that we're doing it.
Yeah, and I love Jim's selfies, but I know that's what everyone doesn't want to see. And so what are some like profile mistakes that you see that your clients are making before they actually get with you? I mean, what mistakes do you see most?
Definitely the shirtless bathroom selfie is a huge one. Men, of course, only men. And it's funny because men actually want to see that from women, not shirtless, but, in a bikini or whatever it is. And women will never do that.
No,
and,
I'm cringing as we're saying this.
No, I mean, never in a million years. But women don't want to see that at all. But I think men think, oh, well, I would want to see that, so I'm going to put that on there. And the funny thing is that the reason, what led up to all of this is that I was telling my boyfriend how, it's just strange to me that so many guys put these profiles up and they've clearly not run it by anybody. I mean, not their sister, not their, coworker, like a female coworker, anything. Like
their bros at least,
by somebody. What?
They're bros at least, even at the bar, just show friends.
I mean, they might not be the best. They might be like, put another shirtless selfie in there, but
like my thought process when I'm putting pictures, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, if my mom like accidentally sees my dating profile, like I don't want to be embarrassed. It could happen. She could find out my passcode.
A good rule of thumb. Yeah, you should want to show your mom.
Yes. Or if she accidentally opens up your app, it could happen.
I know. I was always paranoid my daughter would open up one of my dating apps. Almost worse than your mom. But and I think that there's so many mistakes honestly that are being made, and I my main thing is even if someone doesn't hire me, I just feel like I want to be like, just ask like 3 different women and just get some opinions. Because and also a lot of guys say the same thing, like, no drama or no baggage or what. I mean, it's just come on, like, first of all, at our age, everybody has something. Yep. And it's just a negative way to start off things, in my opinion. So, and I know all the women I talk to feel the same way. So,
yeah, and your clients, there has to be, I guess, a point in their dating lives where maybe they're not getting enough matches, or maybe they're going on crappy dates. Like, what frustrations are those? The 2 frustrations your clients are?
I don't think it's not getting enough matches. I think it's maybe not vetting well enough, and maybe going on some not great dates. And I feel like, that's something that I learned too, over my process of going on many dates, is just recognizing when I knew that it wasn't going to be the right thing for me. By texting, just kind of getting a feel for someone and recognizing some of the signals where you're like, oh, that's not going to be good. And that's something that I talk about with, more so I would say my female clients, but we're just kind of, if you have I had a client text me in a text exchange, and she said, I just have a pit in my stomach. And I was like, that's a good enough sign. It wasn't anything even overt. She just had a bad feeling. And I was like, go with your gut.
Yes.
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
So.
And are these frustrations for both men and women? Are they the same that you're hearing? Or
I don't think men put as much, not that they don't put as much thought. I don't want it to sound like that. I think that maybe they're a little more open to, meeting up with somebody than, I think women are a little more selective. I don't know, Emma, if you feel that way too, but
yes.
yeah.
I'm not.
I am that way.
Is she human? Just kidding.
Right. So no, I would say the struggles are definitely different. And the thing is that I think the reason partly why I haven't had as many male clients yet is because most men don't think they need it.
Right.
And I think they think that their shirtless bathroom selfie looks great.
With
and
their
I don't
dirty
think
mirror.
they really. What's that?
And their dirty mirror.
Or
Yeah.
like every picture they have sunglasses on, or yeah. I mean, I think that they just don't have the same hang-ups, I guess, that women do. And again, it's like if they asked a friend to look at it, maybe they would get some feedback. But yeah, so I think a lot of men don't realize they need someone like me.
Yeah, I don't think
but they do.
I don't think I've ever shown my profile to anybody. And I don't think my
Really?
friends have ever either.
Interesting.
Because I think maybe we have this bravado, this thing like, oh, we got this. We'll be fine. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I usually don't see Zorric's profile until it comes across my like Tinder or Bumble match. Yeah.
And
Wait, do you guys cross each other like on different apps?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we
See each
always
other?
swipe right on each other too.
yeah, because it's like a high five.
Yeah,
go
right,
for it.
Exactly. That's great.
Friendship.
That's great.
Yeah.
I matched with a few, or just as in a funny way with some friends, ex-husbands. Yeah, it was very funny. Just like, hey, you're out there too. Ha
Yeah.
ha. Yeah.
Okay, so what is your, I guess, overall philosophy? Because it looks like you do everything. You do photos, you do bios. Like, what is your philosophy for your clients?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think just having this holistic approach to it. Like, again, I think you can hire someone to help you write your bio.
Right.
And there's so many, I don't know where you guys are, but in New York, it's like, that's a huge thing. You can hire, a matchmaker. You can hire a stylist, a personal stylist. A lot of people do that now. And you can hire someone to take some photos for you, but not someone who kind of does all of that, in a comprehensive way for just you and in your profile. And I think not that I'm saying I'm a matchmaker, but at all. It is different, but there's some overlap in that, I suggest based on, when I have a consultation with a client, I ask, what they're looking for and what, kind of I get a general feel for what they're looking for. And I suggest which apps might be right for them because I tried all of them myself.
So hold on. So let's say I'm 35. I'm 35.
Okay.
And what else would you ask me? Like, what other questions you'd ask my age?
Yeah, I would ask, like, are you looking for a long-term relationship? Are you looking for, something more serious? Are you, I think mostly it just comes out in the way that, for example, I have a lot of clients are like, I don't want it to be just about my pictures. Like, I really want to write about myself. Like, one client's a writer, for example, and she's really interesting and has this great, great sense of humor and everything. And so I suggested OkCupid because, she could right away, and people really do read the bios on there.
Yeah, they do. They're extensive on OkCupid.
Yeah, very extensive and really interesting. I feel like I read some really interesting bios on there. And, I remember even rereading my own many times and being like, I feel like it's really lacking because I don't know if there's just a lot of writers on there or what, but people were really into it. So yeah, a lot of people really prefer doing something like that or OkCupid because you can write so much about yourself and read so much about your prospective date.
So why would someone want to be on Tinder versus Bumble in your?
Well, so I was just going to say, and then I have clients who, are newly single and they're just like, I just want to get out there and like, I just want to find somebody to have sex with. I mean, like, just that's how you feel, especially, you know, some people really feel like that when they get out of a divorce. Like, I'm just out, I want to get out there and have fun and experiment. And, you know, and then I say the Tinder, definitely. I mean, not that Tinder is just that, but, you know, it's a fast and easy way to just, you know.
Because both people can communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And there's more people on Tinder than Bumble. So.
It's definitely the most, And then a lot of women, if their hesitation is, you know, if they're maybe a little more timid and kind of nervous about it, I suggest going on Bumble, because you can kind of get a feel for people. And then obviously, as you know, you have to reach out, you know, as the female. So I think that feels safe for a lot of women. So, yeah, and then, I mean, I don't know what apps you guys have, but there's Happen and Hinge, which are, you know, Happen's like the one do you guys have that there?
Yeah, we do have it here.
You know, it's more location driven. Although I personally never had luck with that one, but I don't know what their statistics are. And then Hinge, you know, of course, there's the added, you know, kind of reassurance that maybe you vaguely know this person through another Facebook friend. Which is weird because, you know, I actually went out with a couple of people on Hinge that you know, they didn't even know the person that was our connection. So
that's awkward.
I was like, I mean, it was fine. They ended up being, you know, nice people, but I was like, oh, so I'm not sure how that worked, but anyway, so I think it's just, I mean, you know, the main ones I recommend are Tinder, OkCupid, and Bumble.
So what about, go ahead, Emma.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say eHarmony or Match, those two. Like, who would you recommend to those two?
I actually, nobody does eHarmony here.
Really?
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know why, but so that was one that I did not try myself, so I can't really speak to that. But my mom does that though in Florida.
Oh, okay.
So we know it's popular in Florida.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I was like, oh, that's for older people, but which I know it's not. I did try Match, and I liked it. I actually did meet somebody who I really, you know, we definitely went out more than a few times, and it was great. He was a really nice person. I found it to be, I didn't like first of all, I just didn't like the interface, and I felt like it was harder to figure out how you were matching with people, and I just found it a little more, also some of the people seemed a little more conservative than I was used to. So for me personally, I didn't really, you know, connect with Match, but I think that, you know, I definitely have recommended that to clients too.
Very cool. What is, so like when you're working with your clients, because you have both male and female, what are like the themes or remarks that they make as you're helping them in this process and at the end of the process?
Well, I think what happens a lot of times throughout this process is that we end up, you know, going through their clothing and wardrobe and kind of putting things together for photos and also just for dating in general. And I think that's even just from my clients, not from Style My Profile, it's just a very cathartic, weight lifted kind of feeling after you go through your closet. Yeah,
baptism.
Exactly. Yes, totally. And it just feels really, and I think that people seeing themselves in a different way now too, because, you know, I know from personal experience, I got out of my marriage and, you know, I was like, oh, I actually I'm supposed to be attractive to people now. Like, you know, it's like a different way of thinking. You know, you're married and you have children, young children, and you're tired all the time. And
so it's more of like convenience when you like dress up versus.
Yes. Yeah. And so then I found, you know, I even had one of my friends that's a stylist come over and kind of help me do the same thing when I first moved out on my own. And it was great. I felt like I really, you know, put my date outfits together and I felt really good and confident. And I think that's the main theme for people, is that they have like a refresh and they feel more confident and are more excited to get out there, and just not feeling stagnant.
So are you a very nice stylist when you're looking through someone's closet? Are you like,
yeah, I don't do the what not to wear.
Okay. Get this out.
No,
Are you crazy?
I'm not the tough love stylist. I'm like I think that maybe it's time to part with this.
So I think that's probably really helpful too, right? Like, okay, do you really think I need to get rid of this? Yeah,
I know.
You haven't worn it since the 90s. It's time to get rid of it.
It's time, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've talked about this in a previous episode, but when I broke up with my ex, or when we broke up, I was just I was wearing the same things for years and years and years, right? And then when we broke up, I ended up hiring a stylist like yourself, and she basically threw everything out. She threw it all out, and she's like, we went out to these different
I would have
places.
done the same thing if he had asked me to help.
Yeah, and I'm
so impressed that you did that.
Yeah,
not a lot of guys do that.
But it was also maybe it was a part of like the breakup too. It was moving out of the apartment also, and it was also throwing out everything that had to do with her and the clothing. But I had a great experience with a stylist, by the way. If anyone out there hasn't worked with a stylist, it was fun.
Yeah, no, I think most people, I've never had anybody be like, wow, I really wish I hadn't spent that. spent money on that. I mean, it's definitely like, I think the idea is that you see more in your wardrobe to wear than, having hired someone to edit it and tell you exactly what you should be and shouldn't be wearing. It's just, sometimes people realize like, oh, I didn't actually need any new clothes. I just needed somebody to come in and tell me what to put together.
Right.
So,
and Emma, isn't there like a psychological effect to, putting new clothes on and you feel like confident, or at least I did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's I'm sure there is, but not that I've studied about. But just personally for me, yeah, like trying on a new outfit. Like I got this new dress today, and I was just like, look at me. I feel like a beautiful princess at work, just walking around with my gown.
Yeah, but even on your date, like if I'm wearing a new blazer or a pressed shirt. I feel I can feel a little bit more confident.
For sure, yeah. I did that once where a friend actually set me up on a blind date, and I was going through my closet. I'm like, I have no shoes to wear on this date. I have a ton of shoes, but of course, none of them worked. And so I'm like, I need new shoes. So I went and bought myself a new pair of heels, and I told the friend about it, and she said, oh, look at you. You're excited about the date. And I said, no, I'm not. I just wanted new shoes.
An excuse.
Exactly. Sometimes it's what you're wearing that gets you out the door.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel that. So let's talk about profile photos, and then we'll talk about bios.
Okay.
So to you, what makes a good profile photo?
Well, I mean, it's funny because it seems so obvious to me, but being in this world, but. As I said, it's surprising how many people, men, and I mean, I've obviously now seen a lot of women's too, just from them showing me, but they just don't spend any time on their photos, and they're, selecting old photos from their, somebody emailed them and it's like not even good resolution, and it's, their face is shaded, or, and so many men.
Or they have sunglasses on.
Their sunglasses on is a huge one, which people really don't realize that that's a no-no, even though I think it's written in every, what not to do in your profile. People still want to wear sunglasses. So I was just going to say, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, I think that the main thing is that, just having clear, well-lit photos that that you can actually see your face in, and not, I mean, a lot of people, I was going to say that so many men show themselves with their ex-girlfriend.
Oh, boo.
That is the worst.
Yeah.
They do that. Have you found that too? I think it's so strange. Or they'll like blur it out. Or
Yes.
something.
And then it's like, I know exactly who this is. Why do you think this
Why
is a good
would you?
idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get it because now that I've been working with people more closely, they're actually like a normal person who is just like, oh, well, that's the only photo I had. Like
Okay,
literally,
take more.
I don't have, that's like, that's
Yeah.
why you have an iPhone, and you just ask a friend.
That's why they have
take a
portrait
picture
mode
of you.
now.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There's all kinds of filters. Yeah. It's really funny. I think and especially in my age group, I think people are really just like, oh, this is fine.
Right.
Like, oh, I was married for 20 years. Like, why, I don't have any pictures without my wife in it or whatever,
Right.
And I think they really just don't think that it's a big deal. But it is, I think.
And I think the
women
mentality
don't get that.
like behind that too is just, like this is how it's been. And so like they don't know that it has to be different, because you don't get a handbook, as you're divorcing. That's like, okay, so these are all the things that you get to do now as you're divorcing. So these are all the things that you can do. These are all the things that you can't do.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
I know there
Definitely
really
a learning
there
curve.
needs to be a handbook.
I'll get on it.
Yeah. Maybe you and I should write it together.
Yay.
So as far as the photos, should it be a full bodied or should it be a face? Should it?
Yeah, well, I say, a lot of people are reluctant to put a full body, but I feel like you should have at least one.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be all of them, but I think at least one. And, and it's benefiting you too, because, you want people to know what they're going in for and not, that whole catfishing thing. And, I think that people especially people who have been doing it for a while, they get really bitter about that, and then it's kind of a waste of everyone's time. So,
especially if like 10 years ago you had like a full set of like dark hair and now you're all gray.
Yeah.
And you have
or
pictures of you just
bald
being
or-
dark hair. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay. You're not this person, or are you?
Yeah. And then again, I think that a lot of people don't even think that that's necessarily a bad thing. They're
Right.
like, oh, well, that was just me 5 years ago, but some people really change a lot in 5 years. So, current photos that are clear, that are well lit, no bathroom selfies with bad lighting.
No gym selfies either.
No gym selfies.
No gym selfies.
Okay.
What about
Another thing that I say too is that I made this joke that there's no way that so many men in New York City are into sailing. There's just no way. And every guy has a picture of them on a sailboat, and I'm like, if you went on a sailboat one time, that don't portray yourself as like, I'm, here I am, I'm a sailor, and I think that people think that it makes them look a certain way.
Here in Texas,
But
it's all about like a picture with a fish, like a fish from the fishing line, or like killing an animal, like hunting. Yes,
Yeah.
that
No,
works
that's
for
good
me.
too.
It doesn't work for everyone else.
Right. Yeah, I don't mind the fishing ones. It's just that things do start to feel a little cliche too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes. So what about casual versus formal, or like what should there be one casual, one formal, or?
I mean, I think that it should really just represent you. I think that it should. If you are one of those people that you like to dress up for dinner and you wear a suit, then yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think most women wouldn't mind seeing a picture of a guy in a suit, and then if the rest are casual. But for example, my boyfriend, he literally works in jeans and a t-shirt. He lives and breathes and works in jeans and a t-shirt. And it would be so weird if he had, put a suit picture on there.
You're like, when does this happen? Once in a blue moon?
When's that happen? After 2 years? After 3 years? So yeah, no, I think that just staying true to yourself and I mean, I think, the majority, you want to be relatable too. So, I think that if you had all pictures in a suit, that might feel a little bit, stiff.
I feel like you need to be on like a reality dating show providing help for people the way like Queer Eye, is doing it now.
Right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
showing people like what to do and what not to do.
I can't believe that it doesn't exist yet.
I know.
Why isn't
Hey,
that
Andy,
around?
can you
Andy
start the
Cohen.
show right now with Alyssa, please?
Exactly. I know.
So, okay. So in other words, you're saying just represent who you are
Yeah.
in your
Yes.
photos. What are your thoughts about no-show socks?
For men?
For men, yeah.
For men.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think they're great.
Yeah.
I think that if you can pull it off, and yeah.
Okay.
So if you have a
Great.
sexy ankle, it's fine.
No
No,
tattoo.
more, like in your attitude,
Yeah.
if you're that person, then for sure. I think it's a cute look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there something on like sort of for men that you recommend, or that you should always like have some sort of picture, or it just depends?
I mean, I think that really just looking at the camera, a big smile, clear, well lit, just something where somebody can really get a feel for you. That's the most important, and rather than having, I think that a lot of profiles I used to see too, it's like they're doing something in every single one. It's like, here I am on a ski mountain, here I am fishing, here I am, it's like, and it's great. It gives you an idea of what, they're very active and everything, but sometimes just a regular old candid, here I am smiling on my front stoop kind of thing. It's great.
Yeah, Emma and I talk about Where's Waldo photos, where it's just like
Yes.
one person and then like 4 or 5 other friends.
And like, which one is it? Because if I'm swiping right on the wrong one, I'm going to be very angry.
I know. No, and that's another thing I tell people is that it's fine if you want to put one group photo.
Yes.
One, and it should not be a group of like 20 people or 10, even, like
Yeah.
1 or 2 friends where you're out having fun. Awesome. Now I see that you like to go out with your friends and you're an enjoyable human being, but
Yeah, you're
I don't need to
social,
see
so
you and
that's
your
good.
entire fraternity, who got together
No.
for a 20-year reunion.
Yeah.
So anything that you have for women that's helpful for like their pictures or, like just style wise?
Well, I mean, really, it's just finding some flattering, clothes where you feel confident and it shows. I mean, really, that's different for everybody, but and just representative of who you are.
Right.
I think that if you're a casual person, then definitely wearing, you don't want to pose in a picture that isn't you, wearing something, maybe it looks great in the photo, but if it's something you'd never really wear in real life, then I think that you have to feel good in it. You have to feel natural, not forced. That's why I generally, for Style My Profile, I haven't really gone shopping with anybody for it. A couple of people have chosen to hire me after the fact just for general styling help anyway. But I really like to just choose things from your current wardrobe, because that's who those are things you already own, you're already wearing, or maybe you should be wearing. And, and I think that that's more true to who you are, rather than me, taking you out shopping and buying you a whole new wardrobe, I'm happy to do that too. If you really feel like, I'm starting new, I'm divorced now, I'm starting fresh, I want a whole new wardrobe, I can do that too. It's just, I feel like so far I've felt really good about just, working with one's own current wardrobe. And then sometimes I'll make suggestions like, oh, you should, send things from online, like, oh, maybe you need these shoes or that kind of thing.
I like that.
Yeah, I think because the stylist I work with, she was like, throw this all away. But, now it's all about fitted and skinnier jeans and all that. So,
well, if your stuff was dated, then for sure, she should be telling you what to throw away. And definitely people needed some refresh for sure. And I would recommend, where to go and send shopping links. But, I mean, I think that if you can work within what you already have and then just add to that, I think that's sort of the best way of staying true to yourself. That's why I really hesitate to call it a makeover. I haven't quite figured out how to exactly say it in one word, because it's not really a makeover. It's, well, our tagline is "New Look, Same You."
Oh, okay.
So, and I feel really strongly about that, because I'm not trying to turn somebody into something that they're not.
Right.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on again, skinny jeans? Because I was on a date, and she was like, "If your jeans are more tight than mine, there's a problem." But I don't know. I was just trying to be, I'm trying to be trendy, right? So
It's,
like,
no,
what are your
it's
thoughts?
super trendy.
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, it's funny because even a year or two ago, not many guys were wearing skinny jeans. I mean, it was sort of like the hipsters. But now I feel like you see more and more people, not necessarily, Williamsburg hipsters at all, wearing them. And I think that when things like that shift, I think that people then start to accept it more, and then it just becomes normal,
Yeah.
But I'm in my 30s. So is that okay? I mean, like, is there a cutoff on age, or just
No,
No.
I think that I
No.
can't, like, if
No.
you're feeling good in it and if you think it's flattering, I
Uh-huh.
think that definitely you should do it.
Okay.
I like it. I like that a lot. So how do you feel about profiles that do not have bios?
I personally stopped, swiping on anybody that didn't have anything written, because
Ooh.
in my opinion, I felt like, are you that serious about it if you couldn't even write even just a few words?
Good point. Yeah.
And or maybe somebody, a friend convinced you to do it and you didn't really want to. I mean, which, I've definitely, before I even started Style My Profile, I'm like the one that like grabs my friend's phone who's like complaining about, being newly single, and I'm like, I'm getting you on Tinder. We're doing it right now. And I know it's obviously all in fun, but you never know if somebody like just set it up for them and they're like, oh, why'd you do that? And
Yeah.
and they're not really serious. And I personally feel like it's either that, or they're maybe they're married, or whatever. It's, who knows? But I feel like, in my opinion, it was a sign. It was a red flag. So I tell people to write at least something, even if you're feeling hesitant about the whole online dating thing, say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
can just say, like, I'm new to this. I don't know what I'm doing, but,
Be
let's go
patient
have a
with
drink
me.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Just be real. Yeah.
So what makes a good bio, in your opinion?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, I think that, so I kind of came up with this like bio cheat sheet where it kind of gives tips and prompts, like, how would your friends describe you in
Ooh, I
5
like that.
words? Yeah. And I think that's a good one, because you can even say that in your bio. I mean, I think more people do that now, but, my friends describe me as this, this, and this. And it's not saying, well, I'm intelligent, I'm this, I'm that, because sometimes it feels weird, like making these,
Like you're
sort of
bragging about
braggy
yourself.
comments. Yeah, yeah. So I think it's a nice way of saying, well, my friends would say that I'm well read, I'm, funny, I'm whatever it is. And that feels more comfortable for a lot of people. And something that I say too is, I had a client recently who had just come out with a cookbook, and she's not, I mean, that's not what she does. She's a lawyer, but she wrote this cookbook and had it, published, and has all these great photos taken. And I said, why don't you mention that in your bio? And she was like, oh, that sounds like doesn't that sound like I'm just one of those really, braggy people that's, just talking about how great I am. And I was like, well, no, I mean, first of all, it's really cool. And I think there's a way to say it where you don't sound like you're bragging. And it gives people a kind of a little insight into who you are. Like, yeah, I'm a lawyer by day, but then I love cooking, and I look at this cool project I did, So, and I think she felt really much more like somebody gave her the okay to to do a little bit of humble bragging. But yeah, I think that just saying something unique about yourself that's not something, you see the same things over and over again. Like, I'm a foodie, which is fine. I mean, I am too, but I think that you need to also pepper in some more unique things.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I didn't even want to say I did yoga anymore because I felt like everybody says they do yoga now. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I even had a couple guys say, like, are you going to, show me a picture of you doing yoga? And I was like, do people do that? Not in that way, just more like, they said that a lot of women have themselves doing yoga on their profile pics. And I was like, God, I never even would have thought of doing that, because you'd have to have somebody, jump out of your, or whatever, stay after yoga class, do your pose, have your friend take it. Like, it just seemed like, wow, that like a lot of effort went into that.
Unless you're like outside and it's one of those like impromptu poses.
Spur of the moment.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you're on a retreat in Costa Rica or something. But, apparently that's another one that's a little cliche now. Like the fish holding for men, I think it's the yoga pose for women.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it's fine to talk about those things, obviously, but I think that it's really nice to put in something more unique to you, such as like, I just wrote a cookbook, or whatever it is. Or I just started a charity, or I don't know. I mean, something that makes you stand out a little bit.
Yeah, because I read a lot of the bios for females here, and it talks about, most of them are, I like to travel, right? Or I like tacos, I like margaritas, and it's nothing like, it's nothing different. And I agree, that's a great point. Like, be unique.
Yeah.
Write something different that lets you that makes you stand out. And that's a great point. So how long should the bio be? Because you're saying that like in OkCupid, they're super long. But in Bumble, they're
Tinder.
like 100.
Yeah, they're like a little paragraph.
Yeah, it's like
a little Twitter blurb or a little tweet blurb.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you can say a lot though in a little paragraph if you're creative about it. I mean, I think just talking about your likes, what you like, not your dislikes, because that's another rule, is not being negative.
I don't like that. It's like, I hate all these things. Okay, well, I am all these things, so I guess we're not matching.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, talking about your likes and then, adding in a few other interesting things about yourself. Yeah.
I mean, are there some highlights you should hit in the bio? Or it's just basically represent yourself.
Yeah, be genuine.
Unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I'm sorry, did you ask? Sorry.
Yeah, that was a question. Yeah, is there like any main highlights to hit?
Oh, main highlights.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, in my opinion, I feel like it's good to kind of state, I said in mine, I can't remember exactly how I worded it, but, I mentioned that I was divorced with 2 daughters and I live in Brooklyn, and, just the basics, trying to say it in somewhat of an interesting way. And then a few, hobbies, maybe what I did for a living, just adding like the kind of the basics that somebody wants to know before they even go out with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To help like open up the conversation if you go on that first date.
Yeah, and give you something to talk about, and definitely you want somebody to be able to text you send you a message and say, maybe reference something in your bio. I think that's a nice way for people to start a conversation, or vice versa. Yeah.
So we have learned so much from you. You should write a book and have.
It's funny. I started writing a book about all my crazy dating experiences, which were super fun, and just definitely worthy of writing down. And I started doing that, but then I feel like now I think it would be that, and also tie in, kind of my advice on dating as a divorcee
Love it.
in 2018.
Yeah.
Which is much different, I'm sure, than dating, as a divorcee when you were, in the 90s or something.
I even think early 2000s it's very different as in the past 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So I guess for our audience, is there is there a bottom line, like, or is there any advice that you can give them that are in this situation? Because our audience, they're dating, they're on Tinder, they're on Bumble. Like, what can you give them? Like, what words of wisdom can we impart on them?
I think, well, first of all, I think really keeping to your word, I think is the main thing, because I keep hearing friends talking about how they flaked on a date or someone flaked on them, or, and I think that is contagious, and I think that my main thing is just treating people with respect. I know you barely know these people, but no one wants to feel rejected before they even before they even met you, and I also tell clients not to take that personally, because it has nothing to do with you personally. It's their own thing, but definitely keeping your word and showing up. And even if you have to bail out of it or whatever, I think that it's just a good, general rule for everybody. And again, pay it forward. It's like, no one wants to be ditched or,
Yeah.
I got so many cancellations and an hour or two before, like, something came up, and, I'm sure 99% of the time that was an excuse of some kind. And it doesn't feel good, nobody wants to feel that way. So that would be my main thing. And other advice is, I think just showing your bio, your profile to a friend or a sister or a brother or whoever you want to choose, but somebody of the, of the opposite sex, or, whoever you want to be attracting, and ask them their opinion. Like, would you want to date this person?
Right.
If you didn't know me, would you swipe right, or based on pictures or profile, or, that would be my other huge piece of advice.
Very cool.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Alyssa, for being a part of this with us
Thank
today.
you.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so glad that you were here.
Thank you.
So where can they find you, Alyssa?
This is fun.
Is there where can they find you?
So I have a website. It's StyleMyProfileNYC.com, and that's our Instagram is also Style My Profile NYC, and then I also have another Instagram which is under my name, Alyssa Dineen, for my regular styling. So they can reach me on all those, and then my email is alyssa@StyleMyProfileNYC.com.
Okay, we'll put that on the website. And Emma,
Yes.
do you have any last words? Anything?
I'm just like in awe right now.
I know I have like notes, and there's just so much to review.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great.
So thanks. That's all we have for today. We hope that you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions, comments, or show topics that you'd like for us to discuss, drop us a note at hello@datepodcast.com or on @datepodcast on Instagram and Twitter. Both a licensed professional counselor and marriage and family therapist.
I'm a certified IT guy and app entrepreneur.
We know that you love us, but the information on our podcast is provided for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional services of any kind. If you or anyone you know needs professional help, please seek mental health services.